Let's now bring in political analyst Sandile Swana, and he'll be talking to us about a number of issues. Of course, one pertaining to the issues around the Palestinians' arrival at the OR Tambo International Airport. But at the same time, we'll be talking to us about the ANC's NEC meeting, which is underway this weekend. Mr. Swana, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Let's start off here. The ANC is meeting this weekend, and of course, a number of issues that they have to discuss. There are issues around the state of the economy. There are also issues around the G20 that is also on the agenda. At the same time, issues around the Palestinians, which arrived earlier this week. What are your expectations when it comes to this meeting taking place? Mr. Swana, I think you have muted yourself. Could you please unmute?
Thank you so much, Mbali, and good evening to your listeners. Yes, indeed. The issue of the Palestinians, we can tackle it very quickly. Whilst the state president has said that they've ended up in South Africa through unclear channels, but out of compassion, we've received them. But from a geopolitical and historical perspective, it's a tit for tat with the United States accepting Amerikaners and false refugees from South Africa, and South Africa accepting genuine refugees, quote unquote, from Palestine, which are also caused by the support of the Americans to the Israeli state. So to me, that is where that is. It's a continuation of a very tense relationship to ourselves and the
And Mr. Swana, staying with the issue around the Palestinians, what do you make around the chaos that ensued on Thursday and the handling thereof, of how they were then ultimately allowed to come into the country?
There are difficulties in South Africa because South Africa has got two faces. You have a South Africa that is very sympathetic to the Palestinian cause and actively supportive of it. Then you have the DA and the right wing in general that is pro-American in the wider sense of the term, and pro-Israel also from a historical perspective. And the minister in charge of Home Affairs is actually a DA minister and not an ANC minister, which the ANC supports the people of Palestine. So there could be difficulties because of attitude, because the ministry is being run by a party that does not support that. So that is all I can say, because the DA has profiled itself as running a very tight ship, a very efficient Ministry of Home Affairs, this, that, and the other. But in this case, it appears there was chaos there.
And would you say that cracks in the GNU in terms of policies then came to the fore when we saw these issues play out at OR Tambo International Airport?
That is my interpretation. And President Ramaphosa knows that the people who are familiar with the history and the struggle and the support between the ANC and the PLO and the people of Palestine generally, including Hamas, would always have a sympathetic ear. But the DA has got a totally different perspective on the issue. So that is not necessarily an indication of cracks in the GNU. The GNU is a vehicle of big business. The marriage between the ANC is a marriage that is welded together by big business for purposes of big business. So the other historical, political, and ideological differences don't matter to business as long as business is going to continue to make money. So there cannot be no cracks that are not approved by big business in the GNU.
All right, Mr. Swana. And coming to other issues, I mean, the ANC is holding its NEC meeting this weekend. I mean, there are a number of issues that they need to iron out. Of course, they are planning, the country is planning to have the G20 summit take place next week. They also are heading towards an NGC. What are your expectations when it comes to this NEC meeting?
Yes, these are tough issues, Mbali, because now you are asking a question about the G20, but the G20 is not an ANC program, it's a government program. So since the time the ANC was the majority party controlling both the ANC and the state and government, we never made a difference. But what I can say is that as far as I'm aware, the government of the day, which includes the ANC, has got a history of running successful events, including Rugby World Cup, Soccer World Cup, and many others. So I am quite confident that they are going to be able to confirm that they've fixed everything that needed to be fixed and they are ready to run the G20. And obviously, from a general geopolitical perspective, specifically targeting the Americans, they are going to be stating that they don't think they're going to lose anything by Trump not attending the G20.
And Mr. Swana, coming to other issues of the ANC, they are planning to hold a NGC next month. When it comes to the preparations thereof, we then saw subsequently this week that NEC member Senzo Mchunu deciding to step away from his party's duties. At the same time, there were issues around him stepping aside when the ANC initially rejected his decision to step aside, now subsequently allowing him to step aside. What do you make of this coming event for the ANC, particularly at a time where it comes under a cloud of serious allegations, particularly to the Minister of Police, who is an NEC member of the ANC?
The evidence, obviously, you and I are not lawyers, but from a citizen's perspective, the evidence against Senzo Mchunu is overwhelming, both in the ad hoc committee and in the Madlanga Commission. So from a citizen's perspective, we would have expected the ANC to accept Mchunu's proposal to step aside and go and attend to the allegations against him and clear his name. It was a shock that even some comrades, that it crossed their mind that they should reject that generous offer from Mchunu, which is guided by sound morals, really, of admitting that there is evidence, even if he thinks he can defeat that evidence at a later time. Right now, the evidence is that there's a pile of it. So the ANC is facing a credibility crisis, which has persisted for some time, that they have not been able to resolve. And they go into this NGC with that cloud hanging over their heads. As to whether they will resolve it, it's another matter altogether.
All right, Mr. Swana, thank you so much for your time. That's political analyst Sandile Swana.